In the keynote speeches, Anant Swarup mentioned, and then subsequently a couple of speakers mentioned about the hazardous cargo. So we have a very interesting presentation on that. After that, we will continue with the second panel discussion. To introduce the speaker, I now invite Captain Nishit Joshi, Senior Vice President of CFSAI. Nishit, please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon all. We will be very brief and quick. Just before I introduce Captain Munjal, just want to give you an update that our members, they handle this hazardous cargo, which is also known as the IMDG cargo. And this constitutes to about 7% of the total imports what we handle in our CFS and ICDs. Now, a brief, quick introduction about Captain Girish Munjal. Captain Munjal basically needs no introduction in shipping and port industry. He has been a very old colleague. He's a master mariner with over 35 years experience and almost couple of decades in senior management positions in various organizations. Be it ports, CFSs or ships, he knows everything that one may need to know about the quality health safety systems, audits and training. Currently, Captain Munjal is with the Anglo-Eastern Ship Management Hong Kong in the Quality Assurance Department. Some of the assignments undertaken by him for CFS and the marine container terminals include conducting training on modules tailor-made to suit the container freight stations and container terminals for handling dangerous goods, risk assessment, accident investigation, Customs and Trade Partnership Against Terrorism, that is the CTPAT module. He has overseen the implementation of Federal 5 standards in DP World subcontinent as the head of the Quality, Health and Safety Department, overseeing development and implementation of ISO 28000, that is the Supply Chain Security System in DP World, Nhava Sheva, Chennai and Mundra. On the social responsibility projects, he has prepared an emergency evacuation plan for local schools and trained about 2,500 children for same. He has also undertaken informatory session on the Tianjin explosions, which happened in 2015 at China, and also on the Beirut accident, which happened in August 2020, involving the commodity of ammonium nitrate. He has educated all our CFSAI and NACFS members with a focus on the importance of safe and secure handling of hazardous cargo and strict operational procedures compliances. I now invite Captain Girish Munjal to share his presentation with our audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Nishit. Captain Girish Munjal, over to you, sir. Before that, my sincere request is that this is a very important presentation. I know you have made this with a lot of passion and interest to discuss the knowledge, but going by the time constraint, I request you to be brief and also share the presentation with us so that we can share it with all the registered participants of this webinar. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ramprasad. Am I audible?
Yes. Loud and clear.
I will absolutely keep in mind the time constraint, but at the same time, what I would mention is that these 30 minutes which had been allotted to me, they will be well worth it if we can go through the presentation, because I will be speaking of very, very key important points, and they will be helpful to across the board, both ICDs and the container freight stations. And thank you very much, Nishit, for this lovely introduction. Without taking much time, let me just start sharing my screen and go on to the presentation so that I can save as much time as possible. So I'm going to start my presentation. Just give me a moment. And this is going to be on the subject of handling of hazardous cargo at CFSs and ICDs and the interrelated safety issues. I had noted initially the number of participants were 209 and gradually they have gone up to 160. So I would request, if the others are listening, to please not log out, because this is really going to be something, and even if you can take one of the takeaways back, believe me, it is going to help you. So please stay on and be with me for the next 30 minutes and I'll try to shorten it. My presentation is divided into two parts. The first, I'll be talking about improvement opportunities for handling dangerous goods at CFSs and ICDs in light of some of the accidents that have happened. And the second part, I'm going to be talking about safety inspections in the near future. So this has been said earlier, but I personally want to thank you all by congratulating the entire supply chain linking the container freight stations, ICDs, terminals, and the ships for the work that has been done during the pandemic to keep the supply chains running. And being a part of this chain, since we manage almost about 650 vessels, I have seen and experienced the resilience shown by this industry. So absolutely well done, and a sincere appreciation to each one of you. And now with this appreciation of what we have accomplished, there are also improvement opportunities, especially noted from these accidents. Nishit mentioned some of them caused in handling of dangerous goods. Let's look at some of these accidents which you would have heard of and I have spoken to earlier in some of the container freight stations and ICDs, but we will look at very quickly only with the perspective of these learnings. And the intent will be to take back some specific learnings from these incidents. So I will be talking about four accidents as to what has happened, and then we'll follow it up with 4 specific learnings that we will introspect, look into our terminals. And I suggest that you note these 4 learnings as takeaways. So even if you think you're doing the procedures, my suggestion is these 4 learnings should be written down as takeaways. So how we will progress in the first session, I will take you through some of these accidents. And then as a follow-up, I will give you 4 specific learnings as takeaways. Okay, the first incident happened in 2011 at the CFS in Nhava Sheva, and the cargo suspected to have blown up was declared as non-hazardous. It was declared non-hazardous in its original form. तो जैसा था वो hazardous नहीं था. But when the burning started, the cargo underwent changes to the chemical composition and the fumes became a hazard, requiring certain personal protective equipment basis the information in the MSDS. However, there was a lapse in its implementation. And as you can see in the picture, none of them are wearing the PPEs. I'm not going to go into the diagnosis and the analysis. Right now, I'm just letting you know what the incident was, and then we will come to the learnings. The incident resulted in 2 fatalities and 105 containers were burnt, including property damage. The second incident, again, which Nishit briefly mentioned, was the Tianjin disaster. This was caused by ammonium nitrate, which is a class 5.1. That is an oxidizing substance which was stored in close proximity to calcium carbide, which is a class 4.3. That is solids that are dangerous when wet. And these were stored in close proximity to other toxic cargo of cyanide solution. There were multiple blasts that shook the city of Tianjin, and as a result, 173 people lost their lives. And of these, 95 were firefighters. And I underline, please note, out of the 173, 95 of them were firefighters who had come to extinguish the fire, but who were not aware of the contents of the cargo. Ki kya hai wahan pe? And they started initiating the firefighting with water on the substance that would become dangerous when wet. And that is the interesting part. I didn't want to take in this time, but this is a very beautiful song from this movie. Amar Prem, where it says कि भाई चिंगारी कोई भड़के तो सावन उसे बुझाए, पर सावन जो अगन लगाए तो उसे कौन बुझाए. This is exactly what happened, that they were putting water on a product which will give out acetylene gas and which will ignite. Did they have that information? And I think we will then go on to the learnings when I speak about that. Right now, I'm just telling you about this incident. And this incident destroyed the 7 terminals around them, not just one. And this is noteworthy because the other 6 terminals paid the price of one terminal's doing. That is how deeply we are connected in the supply chain, that आप जो करोगे उससे मुझे फर्क पड़ता है, और अगर आपको नहीं फर्क पड़े तो मेरे जहाज को फर्क पड़ेगा, क्योंकि हम लोग linked हैं. We are all grouped and bound by the same chain. As the decision had to be taken, a very stern decision, the chairman of that terminal, and I don't want to name him because I've been to Tianjin 12 times after that and I know the terminal well. The chairman of that terminal was given a suspended death sentence. Very, very harsh, but probably for what happened. The third incident I want to talk about was the recent one in Vizag container freight station. And there was a fire on the container loaded with chemical of aluminium fluoride. The cause of the fire is said to be the friction. There was a friction between the crane and the contents of the cargo, which was loaded in the chemicals. Now, certain dangerous goods in the IMDG, they are sensitive to friction. They're very, very sensitive. In case of friction, they will start reacting. But are our operators aware of this sensitivity? And we will address this in our learnings. Why it is important that the people handling them should be sensitive towards what this cargo can do, what is the nature of this cargo, and where will I get the information from. The fourth one, and this is where I think the whole world shook up, this was Beirut, and the cargo that was blown up was ammonium nitrate, which is that same one in Tianjin, class 5.1, oxidizing substance. And this was stored alongside fireworks, but stored alongside fireworks is basis unconfirmed reports, because many a times when terminals do, because they're scared that if I share this information, I will be in trouble. But with unconfirmed reports, we know that this was stored next to fireworks. And this incident brought the entire Lebanon government down. And it initiated a worldwide reaction to introspect and look at their own terminals for similar hazards. And I'm using reaction because if we had to respond, we would have responded in 2013 when the same blast had happened in the Texas terminal where only 30 tons of ammonium nitrate was blown. If we had to respond, we would have responded in 2015 when the Tianjin. But this time we started introspecting and there were a lot of things that came to light. So these are the 4 incidents that I wanted to bring to light. And now we will look at how it puts it into our perspective. So in India, the total EXIM cargo we are handling is about 17.5 million TEUs, of which Nishit mentioned 7%. I had the figures about 10%, but that really doesn't matter. So if we look at, let's say, 10% of the dangerous goods, and with the exception of direct deliveries, so agar hum log bole ke 10 million out of the 17.5 million, with the exception of direct deliveries, then about 1 million TEUs are being handled between CFSs and ICDs on the ratio of 70% to 30%. Hence, the learnings from these incidents are important for reviewing our own processes to prevent a reoccurrence. And on the basis of my interaction, because I'm not just working for ships, I interact a lot, as Nishit mentioned, on my interactions with container freight station, container terminals, and these are as recent as even till yesterday. I'm going to give you 4 specific areas of improvement whilst handling dangerous cargo. And gentlemen, please note this down, because there is a very recent paper which was published by the Chartered Institute of Ergonomics and Human Factors, where they were looking at human factors, how they contribute towards the accidents. And one important aspect among the 9 things which was given in this report was to recognize the potential difference between the way work is imagined and the way work is actually conducted. हम सोचते हैं कि काम ऐसा होना चाहिए, हम सोचते हैं कि ये हमारे प्रोसीजर्स है, सबको पता है, लेकिन when you go down to the end user, there is a huge difference, and I will come to that where are the learning. So gentlemen, please note these 4 point downs as takeaway. ये नहीं सोचना कि ये तो मेरे टर्मिनल में सालों से हो रहा है, मैं तो करता ही हूँ. I am telling you there are gaps, so please introspect, because each one can cause a disaster. There is potential. So here are the 4. The first one is documentation. Documentation with information on the contents of the cargo and the UN number. And though majority of the cargo information is available, there are still gray areas in which the information is received much later than the cargo arrival. And supply chain partners, as I said, we are linked with each other. The supply chain partners need to be sensitive to the fact that without this information, the handling of the dangerous goods will be affected. So my suggestion is, please verify your systems to evaluate the percentage of dangerous goods containers that are arriving without adequate documentation. Very important. The second learning, which is a takeaway from these incidents, is segregation between incompatible dangerous goods. I have put up the chart of segregation, but I'm not here going to train you all about this segregation chart. But still today, there is a scope of improvement in some terminals as to how they have to segregate incompatible dangerous goods. And there are two specific aspects to that. First, very recent, after the session which was held in August, as Nishit spoke about, after the Beirut blast, I got a call from number of terminals to explain the segregation table. Bolte, Girish, can you explain us what is this segregation table? And I'm telling you, terminals which have been running for a very long time. And there was further feedback of terminals initiating the training for their employees on the segregation criteria, mainly caused because initially the IMDG volumes were not trained in that. So it is as recent, and I'm not saying all, I know most of these terminals and have a wonderful system, but there are some terminals who are still not following it. And हमारे लिए एक ही काफी है. Even one terminal, if it is not following the criteria, जब तक कुछ नहीं होगा, nobody will get to know. But God forbid something happens, it will be a disaster. That's why we need to look on these accidents and incidents as to what happened and learn from these. Some terminals who were aware of the segregation criteria, however, with the influx of the containers to keep the port running during the pandemic, the segregation criteria for some of the stacks was overlooked because of operational pressure. I'm not talking about the other cargo, but the stacks for dangerous goods were being compromised because of the pressure that had come in during the pandemic. And the takeaway, gentlemen, for this aspect is that there is no room for complacency whilst handling dangerous goods. And we are seeing this with the accidents that have happened. And here is where I would say this is very integral to the leadership in our organization, the decision makers, how they handle situations when crisis happens, when lockdowns happen, when government policies change, when their business models are shaken up. Then how do they react or they respond? Because the danger and the hazard is not going to go away anywhere. The change will happen. The hazard has not gone anywhere. And they say that the true character, whether it's an individual or if it's an organization, the true character is how they behave during non-routine operations and during adversities. And that is the reason after this thing that has transpired, the pandemic, adversity quotient has become prime. We used to talk about IQs and EQs. Now adversity quotient has become prime. And improper handling of dangerous goods is not just impacting our employees, our business and reputation, but a larger community that is laying its trust on our ability for their well-being. And this brings us to the third improvement opportunity. However, before I go on to the third improvement opportunity, let me at least show you how it impacts the community that is depending on it. It's a 30 seconds clip, but look at it. This is the Tianjin blast and also followed by the Beirut blast, which will give you a visual as to how it can impact our community. So this is, and we don't need to have so many tons. As I told you in 2013, when the Texas blast happened, even with 30 tons of cargo, we had a widespread damage, 12 people died, but this is a devastation, a complete devastation, and how our communities get affected by the work that we are doing. The third one which I wanted to talk to you about is the contingency planning, and this is the third takeaway. So even if you tell me, Girish, we have a contingency plan, I am telling you it's a takeaway, because contingency planning has to have also a link with the external stakeholders. And when I say external stakeholders, is not just the firefighters, but our community, the Zilla Parishad. How will we communicate it to them? When a toxic cargo blasts, I can look at the MSDS sheets and I'll say, ye precaution lena hai. When ammonium nitrate blasts, I will look at an ammonium nitrate MSDS and मैं बोलूंगा ये precaution लेना है. लेकिन जब दोनों मिल जाएंगे तो उनके fume से मेरे लोगों को कैसे असर पड़ेगा ये किसी लैब में नहीं पता चलेगा. That is why it is so important that how do we mitigate that soon as there is an incident, और ये नहीं है कि incident नहीं होंगे, but how do we mitigate so that the consequences can be reduced? And we are doing the best in our ability to avoid an incident. Our preparedness to handle the emergency, to reduce or mitigate the consequences, has a huge scope of improvement. Besides IMDG supplement, what I have put on top, we have an emergency response guide which has been published by the US Department of Trade, and this has been copied by the Gujarat State Disaster Management Authority. Word to word copy किया हुआ है और उसमें telephone numbers भी कई जगह पे आपको US के मिलेंगे, but I'm not going into that copying. What I'm trying to say is this is a wonderful tool. And the latest emergency response guide 2020 is also available on the Play Store for free, and this is compatible with Android users. मैंने इसके ऊपर detail दिया हुआ है, so this can be used as a tool. So besides looking at your contingency plans, please have a look as to how we will respond, and this is a wonderful tool that you all can use. So these are the three. I'll come to the fourth one. The fourth major improvement opportunity, both in terms of safety and handling of dangerous goods, is the competence of our operators, both employees and contractors. Kai baar we were thinking that my employees are good, I am doing a wonderful job because I have wonderful processes, but the minute you hand over a certain aspect to the contractor, you will need to make sure he's operating at the same level as you. And this is just a picture, it is not implying anything, but what I want to mention it, कि भगवान ना करे अगर a container with ammonium nitrate or a container, let's say, with a toxic cargo or a flammable cargo goes up this high, it is not just going to affect that terminal, it is going to affect a huge amount of workforce. And the competence, gentlemen, as you all know, combines the requisite knowledge कि मुझे पता है कि कैसे handle करना है. Have I got the skills And most importantly, have I got the attitude to performing that task safely? So if we are training our employees, the takeaway is that we need to ensure that the contractors, including the supply chain partners, are trained to a level that they are sensitive. They're sensitive to the nature and the potential outcome of handling dangerous cargo. For you can outsource a job, काम मैं दे सकता हूं, but you can never outsource the risk to humanity by ensuring it. You will never be able to ensure the risk. And I am getting excited. The reason being because I have been into terminals and it is sometimes scary कि बच्चे ये क्यों कर रहा है, and he doesn't know that क्यों. We all say that human performance, as Simon Sinek says, is why we do what we do the way we do it. जब मुझे why ही नहीं पता तो मेरा behavior, how I am doing it, my desire, and especially my desire 3 o'clock at night when nobody else is watching me, will be much different. And by 2021, we will have 50% of our workforce millennial. If you don't give them a purpose, if you don't give them a why, their behavior you will not be able to impact. In effect, you will not be able to address their competency. आप उनको अक्ल दे दो वो तो गूगल भी दे देगा, लेकिन आप उनका एटीट्यूड नहीं खरीद सकोगे. And when I say खरीद, मतलब you will not be able to buy him up with that salary that we pay him. Hence, I have made a suggestion to CFSI along with the NACFS to make a movie, just a movie tailor-made to the basics in handling of IMDG in CFSs and ICDs. This can be shown to our employees and contractors from time to time to familiarize and thereafter sustain their behavior and how to handle dangerous goods. Today's subject is of sustainability. मैं बोल रहा हूँ to handle dangerous goods, I need to sustain that behavior. No matter what my personal problems are, I cannot bring them to work because my actions can impact a very large community. How do we sustain that behavior will become prime going ahead into 2021 when you have 50% of your workforce as millennials. Now that comes to so this is my first part, as I said, where I needed to give you 4 takeaways. For the second part of my session, which is going ahead post-pandemic, we have a procedure from the Government of India, which was just mentioned by my colleague, both for ICDs and CFSs. So this is the second part of my session. And here, I think Mr. Pramod, he spoke about this. And also you would have all seen this circular from the CBIC. Let's just, because that print is not so good, so I've just put it down over here and I'll read it very quickly, the highlighted test. I'm not going to go into the circular to take time. So this says it is a circular dated 8th of October and procedures for inspections of ICDs and CFSs. There was the audit report of 16/2018 on the working of inland container depots and CFSs. And the audit, amongst other things, observed that there is a lack of internal controls, including internal audits and inspections. So hence the board has decided to put into place a proper system for regular inspections of ICDs and CFSs. And then it goes on to say who's going to be inspecting it. And gentlemen, here is where, with all the experience that I've had, probably one thing which Nishit did not mention, I'm also a mentor auditor. A mentor title comes after years of being into the auditing. So I am a mentor auditor and I have been in this supply chain business for 38 years. And I can assure you that self-assessment and internal audits is the best way for continual improvement. Over the years in the shipping industry, I have noted inspectors coming in for the audit, including port state controls, to identify solely defects and defects of their perception in lieu of adding value to the system. कि कैसे मेरे लोग, कैसे मेरा procedure को मैं अच्छा कर सकता हूं, नहीं वो नहीं होता. And hence the best way is to assess internally, but with independent eyes. And there are enough service providers who can work with you internally. That's why now I'm going to be giving you 4 actions. पहले मैंने 4 learnings दिए थे, अब मैं आपको 4 actions दे रहा हूं that CFSI and NACFS can collectively take for all ICDs and CFSs to work as one team and have uniformity of processes across the board. These 4, and gentlemen, I discussed this very briefly with CFSI, and I can assure you that these will take us a long way. So these 4 are: first, form a central quality assurance and a safety team. Amongst the complete batch of CFSI and NACFS have one team of quality assurance that will coordinate and consult with the members for safety related issues and especially handling of dangerous goods. That's my first suggestion. Second, prepare and share risk assessments for all activities, including handling of dangerous goods. And these risk assessments will be generic in nature and they can be made terminal specific. The choice will be for the terminal. However, the central board can lay a benchmark where you all can grow from. And I don't think there is any hesitancy over here to say, okay, if I share my procedures with the other organization, he will start working in same line. That is not what we are talking about. There is enough part of the pizza for all of us to take a pie. We don't need the whole pie. By sharing the procedures, we will be able to do wonderfully well together. So let's share our assessments from this central committee that we form. The third, which I am suggesting, is conduct internal audits and share the learnings with all members. And these audits can be assigned to independent, competent service providers for value addition and not for certification purpose only. I have been a part of the supply chain and including shipping, and I will not hesitate to face the fact, jab 82 mein maine shuru kiya tha, 1982 mein, there were certificates which we could buy from VT station. Kuch chahiye certificate VT station pe mil jata tha. But with that certificate, I had people thinking that I know how to do the job, but when it came to reality, there were collusions and there were groundings because they did not have the requisite knowledge. So I am not getting into this for this arena. Okay, we are going to be having a similar thing, but all I'm trying to suggest is let's have audits to add value and to improve, which we call as constant and never-ending improvement, CANI, for the next generation. And lastly, the fourth suggestion that I have is incidents can be shared with the central QA team for analysis and further sharing the lessons learned, because we don't have any central committee like the dock safety or the factories inspector. We don't report to anybody, so we are not learning from each other. The initial hesitation was कि मैं identification अपनी terminal की क्यों दूं अगर मेरे यहाँ पे हादसा हुआ. I'm not saying give your identification, no, but by the central committee analyzing, the objective will be to learn from each other and identify what we need to do as a team to progress together. Gentlemen, the idea is to progress for a larger cause and give the required confidence to the government agency who would grant us then a green channel to self-assess. Let's give them the confidence that we will be able to do it and get the green channel. And that's all that I had, and I will end it with a key insight and how we can cause a synergy between CFSAI and NACFS. And that key insight is no one of us is as smart as all of us. We have thousands of years of experience between us. So let's all work together
The questions are
culture of one team with one goal, having one conversation, and that conversation will be to achieve zero accidents. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time and listening. I hope that I have been able to sustain the time that I was allotted. So thank you very much for your listening.
Yeah, thank you, Girish. Actually, this your session is, as you know, is one of the most interesting sessions we have in all our CFSAI and NACFS programs. And already in the Q&A session, we have the mailbox, the box full of questions addressed to you. And in fact, when we circulated that you are coming for this session, we already got more than about 50 questions already for you. And I can see on the screen, a lot of people are flashing this, questions and asking, addressing to you to share this presentation also with them. However, we have little paucity of time today. So as discussed with Mr. Ram Prasad, we will organize a separate session of our members with you exclusively. And all the questions what we have today on the screen, we are taking a note of it, and we will come back again shortly, maybe in a month's time with you for addressing all these questions. So thank you very much for sharing this information. And the action points, I think this, I just want to state one more thing here is, if you recall, I think about 2 decades back, on the shipping side of it, on the ocean side of it, the IMO had constituted a maritime safety committee. So I think what I could get from this is that we constitute a central,
lovely, sir. Perfect. I can see
central committee in the association, which can oversee, the safety aspects at our facilities. I think that's a very, very good suggestion. We will take up this matter in our managing committee also, and also with the members. So once again, thank you very much, Girish, and all the panelists and Gateway Media. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Ram Prasad.
Thank you, Nishit Joshi, Captain Nishit Joshi, and thank you, Captain Girish Manjal. I withdraw my earlier remarks that asking you to cut down the time. Now I realize that this is really, really important presentation and topic for all the CFS and ICD operators. Unfortunately, yes, because of lack of time, we are not able to accommodate. But as the captain said, we will take all the questions and also collaborate with you and do another session with both CFSAI and NACFS.